let me get a couple of things out of the way off top. One,
all right,
I firmly believe you are worth whatever somebody is willing to pay you. Two, in principle, I am not a pocket watcher. So I just wanted to establish those two things. Having said that, listen, I have heard my share of commentary. But I don't care if sparks fly out of Tom Brady's mouth. I don't care if the cannons blare, if the mountains crumble and the seas roar. No color commentary is worth $375 million. No analysis.
Yeah.
$375 million?
Yes, it is.
It's Tom Brady.
It is.
I love him, but golly. Woo, but hey, listen, it ain't tricking if you got it, right, Fox?
Hey, man, I like it. Let me tell you, and not because.
Oh, I'm not hating.
Somehow
hey, don't get it twisted.
I'm not
hating. I'm not hating the player or the game. I'm just saying,
right.
$375 million for him to color commentate. It's the biggest contract in history for a reason. Go ahead. You were saying.
And look, I'm not saying it's got, we real here, man. We real.
Why do you do that on television? Why do you do that on television?
What?
Can you not do that in the 8 hours that you have before 3 o'clock? Put chapstick on in the middle of a conversation.
So what?
I mean, you didn't know you were doing TV at 3 o'clock? You didn't know the show started at 3?
Do you do it? Do you do it in real life? You do it in real life? Hey, listen, if I was talking to you right across from you, and your breath was a certain kind of way,
will not put on chapstick when he's about to do the game.
I bet you will with 310 years. If that contract is guaranteed, he'll do whatever the hell he want to do. But if I was right across from you and your breath was a certain kind of way on TV, I might hand you a cert. They still had those certs, and you take it on TV or a mint. It's no big deal. But anyway, I'm gonna tell you why it's worth $375 million for Tom Brady. Because if you're Fox, you think about all the people that you could be associated with. This is about brands. And I shouldn't be talking like this because he didn't come over to this side. He didn't come over to this side, NBC Peacock. But I'm just saying, just in general, if you're Fox and you're saying, who are the people we could associate with our brand and would be good partners for the next 10 years? You're not saying many names before you get to Tom Brady. Who's available and who could be on our side? So it's not even necessarily about being in the booth. It's just the association.
It's being in business with Tom Brady. Again,
that's it.
You're worth what somebody is willing to pay. And the Brady name, the Brady brand, I agree with you. But we're still talking about his primary job. I know he'll be an ambassador and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But his primary job is going to be the #1 color analyst, a job which he hasn't done, a job which I don't doubt he'll be good at because he'll probably work himself to the bone to try to be the best at it. I mean, I don't know that anybody thought Troy Aikman was going to be what Troy Aikman is. Troy Aikman was dry as a player, as I recall, and he turned into a #1 guy. Tony Romo had personality, but I don't know that anybody saw him becoming what he's become the way he's becoming.
Right.
Here's the reason my eyebrows still go up at 375 for anybody.
Tell me why.
Okay? Only because just like in sports, you can't win a game in the first quarter, but you can lose it, right? You can't win the broadcast in the booth, but you might be able to lose viewers. In other words, I just don't know that even a Tom Brady makes that big of a difference calling the biggest of games. He'll make the bigger games feel bigger, even bigger initially,
right.
But very, very quickly, that's gonna wear off. Very, very quickly, he'll just be another player calling games, and it'll come down to the guy still playing. It'll come down to the guy still playing between the lines, not the former guy who may or may not be all that transparent and all that candid, depending on how honest he chooses to be. 375 is a lot, but again, it's their money, it ain't mine, and it is Tom Brady. So I don't hate it for him. I don't hate it for them. I'm not hating on the deal. I'm simply saying I don't know how much of a difference a color commentator makes. Certainly not $375 million worth of difference.
I'm glad that number just gets your attention. And it's not just you. I heard it. I had the same reaction, just like eyeballs popping out of the head, more than normal. Okay, you know, like all these things. You're like, ooh, 300. How many years? How much money for Tom Brady? What else is he doing? This is amazing. Okay, that number stands out, but I'm glad it does because usually, Mike, when you hear these lists, you know, there are always these lists, you know, Forbes, richest athletes, richest people in the world, and you talk about the holdings that they have. You know, all the numbers get so dizzying after a while, it just doesn't register. You're like, yeah. Like, how much money does Jeff Bezos have? A lot. It doesn't really register. But in this case, I want you to think about $375 million. Then I want you to think about somebody's paying $375 million. Then I want you to think that they're not close to going out of business.
Sure.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so when fans,
it's a drop in their bucket.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Mike, and this is why I like it. When fans talk about players making money and, ooh, is this receiver worth $25 million, $30 million? Is this quarterback worth $40 million, $50 million? Yes, they are, because you're not even thinking about the whole ocean that's out there. And that just tells you how much money. But we're not even talking about playing, though.
Sure.
That's fine.
That is all relative.
That's fine. But
I think that's the issue, though, Michael.
How much money
we're talking.
They have.
Again, no doubt. Again, it ain't tricking if you got it. And, you know, ownership, I think trying to appeal to the people, again, it's a longer conversation. But the people out there who wonder or who are anti-player in player versus management feuds forever puzzle me, given that we should all be able to relate to the common working man. And relatively speaking, all of these people, no matter how many zeros are at the end of their salary, they're the common working man to ownership, or in this case, the network executives or the Murdoch family, whatever, right? Okay, so This is what I'm getting at, though. There is something, though, problematic, I'll put it that way, problematic about a picture where Tom Brady can play can make less money in his playing career than he will in his broadcasting career. It's like, what are we really talking about here? Like, what are these guys actually, again, with all due respect, what are these guys actually adding to the game to warrant making more than the guys actually playing the games? That's the only part. You're right about, generally speaking, it's all relative. Like, they're getting paid what somebody can afford to pay them. Yeah, that's not the point.
You asked that question.
The point is he's still calling games. He's not playing in them. He's not going to be the show.
Well, look,
not for long, at least.
Listen. You raised a great question, and I would say more money should go to people playing the games and people calling the games, commentating, whatever. But that leads to a conversation about the salary cap itself. All right, I turn around and say it should be bigger. If you can get to the point where because your TV, you're paying the NFL anyway. You're paying the NFL, and that allows the NFL to have a certain salary cap. So you're paying the NFL, you're one of the partners, and then you can turn around. You can say bye to Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. They were making a nice little piece of change. And then you can bring back Tom Brady, who makes more than both of them combined. That means there's even more money out there for the entertainers on the field, for the performers, and not just the analysts. There's more money for all of us.
What's the number? 75 out of 100? All of us. I'm glad you said that. What was the number? 75 out of...
I'm thinking that way.
75 out of 100?
Yes,
out of the top 100 most viewed programs, 75 were NFL games or something to that effect. Look, again, there's more where this came from, and they only made a transaction that they could afford. But it's not just Brady. It is this announcer musical chairs that we have seen lately, whether it's the play-by-play person or the color analyst. $20 million, now $37.5 million. Like, and nobody will probably touch that. But somebody's gonna fall in between those two figures. It's gotten out of control. They ain't wide receivers, for crying out loud. And again, I just wonder, initially there'll be the curiosity factor. But if the Cowboys and the Eagles are playing in week 17 for the NFC East Championship, all right? Cowboys, Eagles, week 18, I beg your pardon. Still gotta get used to that. Cowboys and Eagles, week 18 for the NFC Championship game on the line. Is anybody going to watch that otherwise would not because Brady's on the call? I think that's a safe no. I think it's safe to say no. Like, nobody's going to tune in because Brady. Like I said, some people may tune out if they hear the wrong voice or they don't like the color commentator, but they're only going to tune out, or at worst, they may mute it.
Right.
At worst, they may mute the television, but they're going to find a way to still tune in and engage with the NFL. Look, good for Brady. I think, and also,
I've never done that.
You never muted a, yeah, no, I don't know that anybody for me has been that bad, no. But going back to our humble beginnings.
Like over the years, maybe Dan Fouts once. Dan Fouts one time. But other than that, no.
This is such a crazy place we're in 2022. If you'd have told either of us 20 years ago that not only would that fourth-string guy out of Michigan, that afterthought 199th pick of the draft in 2000, not only would he go on to win 7 Super Bowls and be the greatest of all time, but he'd also be a color commentator as well as a media mogul. That part of the trip to me, just given the restrictions that were once placed on him, who he's become is fascinating.
I mean, really, I want to touch on that and then go to something else off of Stephen Holder's tweet. But Tom Brady, this was, so at pick 199, now we know this, we're draft nicks, we're all into it, we're draft nerds, and many of you out there are as well. So you know if you pick 199, you're getting real close to not being drafted. So Tom Brady was looking around, he saw some of his Michigan teammates drafted, he saw some people in the Big Ten that he competed against. He saw a lot of them drafted before he was, so he's really starting to think, is this thing for me? Is he gonna be a undrafted free agent, signing with the team, or he really thought about working in insurance? That's what he was going to be. He was an insurance man. Tom Brady, he was thinking about getting a job. So to think about that on draft day 2000, April of 2000, you're like, I don't know. I don't know where that check is going to come from. I'm a graduate from a very good school, no sarcasm, very good school, University of Michigan, academically at least. They need to work on their football program, but academically, very good school. I'm a graduate here. Where am I going to go next? To 22 years later, you've got everything. You've got rings. You've got respect on the field, and now you got respect off the field. You got all these businesses, all these ventures. It's really an incredible story. But I would say to Stephen Holder's point about, hey, he said, I'm not hating. Essentially, what you're saying, I'm not hating, but just curious. You know, people are going to watch the NFL regardless. Sure. I'm going to go to the movies regardless, too. So I don't even know how much Leonardo makes per movie, Denzel makes per movie, anybody, name your biggest star. I don't care who it is.
Yeah, that's not the same thing.
The point is, okay, you're going to go. It's
like
not,
you're going to see them perform. Brady is not the show in this instance. You're going to see Leonardo act. No, regardless of what Leonardo makes or Denzel makes, you're going to see them perform their craft. Nobody would bat an eye if the Miami Dolphins or the Bucks or whoever paid Tom Brady to quarterback their team for $37.5 million.
But this is
nobody would bat an eye.
This is why it is similar. Because yes, I might go to a movie for him. I might. But if you take him out of the mix, and let's say you take the top 10, whoever they are, I'm not getting into ranking them. You take out the top 10 actors in Hollywood and say they're not going to make movies for 20 years, you go find your boy at the movies anyway. I'm still going to go because I enjoy the exercise. It's just like the NFL. Yes, if Tom Brady is there, I'm going to watch. If he's not there, I'm going to watch. But I recognize how much money is out there, and it's just you know, when people say they're not hating, I think it's a little bit of hatred. I think it's a little bit.
It's not hatred.
Maybe you got into the wrong feet.
No, not at all. I can't put it this way. I can't hate on Brady. I can't hate on Brady, and none of us can hate on somebody that can do something that we can't do. I never understood people who hate athletes. It's like, well, hell, I wasn't born 6'10". I can't throw a football. I threw all of 4 touchdown passes in my high school backup quarterback playing days. By the way, I'll do it for $5 million. As a maybe, give or take. I was a backup high school quarterback who beat Eli Manning head to head. I'll cut you a break in there for $5 million if you're looking for a color commentator on the cheap. That's neither here nor there. I'm not hating on Brady. Brady has done enough and accomplished enough and he's sought after enough to demand. Again, that's why I started the way I started. On principle, I don't pocket watch, and you are worth what somebody is willing to pay you. Hell, I have been overpaid. I have been overpaid in my life for what it is that I do. I ain't gonna lie, but I'll take it. I'll still cash them suckers. I'll still cash them checks. So I'm not about to sit up here and be hypocritical. What we're saying is, okay, if sticking with your movie comp, all right, you are going to go to the movies in general, regardless of who's in it. But you are more likely to go to see a Tom Cruise or Denzel or Leo movie than you are a Michael Smith movie, because you know what you're getting. And that's why they are the biggest, their box office. Brady as a quarterback can and could have, we know why he didn't take as much money, could have commanded far more money than he made throughout his career, because he makes a difference on the field. That's why the quarterbacks and the top quarterbacks make $40 million or whatever they're making nowadays. But when you're talking about a color commentator, all we're trying to figure out, not hating, is does the average viewer care more about the NFL, which is hard to do given the hold that the NFL has on Americana. Does the average viewer care more about the NFL based on who is in the booth during the game or who's at the desk at halftime or pregame? And I would venture to say no. I don't think that's hatred.
I want you to say,
I'm saying it's about the game. I need that answer to be
yes. I need that answer to be yes.
I'm that just people encouraged.
Care more? I'm encouraged. Yes, I'm just encouraged. I hope so. I hope all of this
Why?
matters.
Because you think a rising tide floats all boats? I got news for you.
I feel like my ship is coming.
Ain't no trickle down economics here. Look, sorry, partner. Ain't no trickle down. Ain't no
swing low, sweet chariot. I see it.
Ain't no trickle down economics here, bro.
No,
I'm sorry.
No, it's not coming.
Let me ask you this. We got to go to break soon. Let me ask you this. Do you believe he'll be good? Do you believe he'll be good?
Yes, I think he'll be good. I think he'll be good in a way. I think he'll have substance. Because Tom Brady, just you know this from interviewing him, he just thinks about the game deeply. He loves the game and he gets into stuff that other people, he goes places other people either can't go or won't go. Yeah, he'd be great.
Does he?
As a matter of fact,
I don't know. I don't know if that's the case.
Oh, he can.
I think he's just Tom Brady.
I know.
I ain't never heard him be that deep. He's just Tom Brady.
Oh, he's deep. Oh, he is. Oh, I have.
His voice carries. Okay, you said so.
If they got a little bit more money, there it is. There it is.
Bruh, that dude was a dope team leader, and I brought up the team GPA quite a bit, I'll have you know.
Hey, I'll tell you who'll be great in that group,
when is Brady going to retire? When is Brady going to retire, Michael? Tell me that.
That's what I want to tell you. That's next. That's part 2.
All right, we'll come back to this later.
Old school, linear.
Let's come back to this later.
Linear TV after the break.
Right, we'll come back to this later.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.